All right, y'all. So I've been meaning to get this out sooner. I really wanted to get this out last week, but there's some things that God has had me add on to here. I wasn't gonna talk about some of the stuff I'm gonna be talking about today. So I wasn't gonna do it like this originally, but this is what I'm rolling with. So yeah, I really think this topic that I'm gonna be starting today can help out a lot of people. It's something that I've struggled with for a while, and he's still working with me on. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Like I said, I think this can help be a blessing to somebody. So keep sharing it for me on, social media. Tell your friends about it, everything. So I appreciate you guys. So the topic that I've been asking him what it is that he wants me to speak about, and the topic that he's told me to talk a little bit about is the importance of relationship. The importance of relationship and understanding the importance of relationship. And I'm going to be transparent with this because I'm going to tie in some experiences. Like I said, it's something that I've struggled with. So the first question I asked him when he gave me the topic was, why don't people, I guess, think it's important to want to spend time with you? Why don't people think, why don't they desire to spend time with you? And he gave me 3 answers. So the first answer he gave me was people don't know his character. The second answer he gave me was people have no knowledge of and understanding of his word. And the third answer was people just don't care. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this. I really think this can help some people out. So, I'm going to start with all my life I've heard these statements. I've said them. I've heard them in church growing up. All my life out of church, these statements, why would God let this happen? Why didn't he do something? If he's a God of the future, then why would he sit back and let people, go through whatever it is they're going through? Where was God? Why was he the one to get that? Why did God give her that? Or pointing the finger and all these questions. And in church, they would tell me, it's all a part of God's plan, or God is testing you, or you never know what God's going to do. And all those statements I just said, I've learned they're completely incorrect. And they come from a lack of understanding and a lack of being taught correctly. And I made them too. So look, but what I've learned is that is completely just against the character of God. So, and I feel like I got to get this out, because God is getting blamed for a lot of stuff, and he's been getting blamed for generations for things that are not in his character to do. And when I say character, like, he doesn't have the ability to do what it is that he's getting blamed for. And I was blaming him too for stuff, and I didn't understand his character. God, he doesn't have the ability. That doesn't come from God. God doesn't allow. God is not, he's not behind the coronavirus. He's not, I used to hear in church, or God took so-and-so home. I'm like, well, why he take her home? She didn't want to go. She got 3 kids. So that used to just mess with my head a little bit, and nobody had answers for me. So I just used to get frustrated. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this and what I've learned. So he's told me to start off, his character is revealed all throughout the Bible. But this one verse he told me to speak about today, I'm going to be pulling out probably like 4 scriptures. So if you don't have a Bible, that's fine. I'm going to read it out of mine. But Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." So this verse really jumped out at me, and it's something I've been meditating on, and he's been telling me to read every day. So it jumped out at me because I noticed it said, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you." And notice it didn't say, "For I know the thoughts I think of you." So God is ahead of your thoughts. And God is a God of the future. That is absolutely correct. But I've also learned he's not a magic genie. So, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, meaning that God is ahead of your thoughts. He's thinking things about you and I before we even thinking about ourselves. The idea, I came a long way. You're never going to surprise God. That's what I've understood. Now, I used to say to all, God, you brought me a long way. And he said, Eli, you have come a long way. But understand something. I saw you here when you was back doing, stuff you wasn't supposed to be doing. And, I'm not going to get into that, but you're never going to surprise God. God sees you according to your potential. He sees you according to your destiny, your purpose. And he just does not think the way that we think. That's the thing that I'm starting to realize. His mind, he don't think the way that we think about ourselves, about, situations. And I want to say this: if you are here in this world, you are special, and you are more special than you understand. And if you're here, there is something that you are supposed to do. There's something that you are supposed to fulfill, and there's something that God has put in you that only you are supposed to accomplish. And he chose you before you hit your mama's womb. It says it in the scriptures. I chose you before before the foundations of the world. So there's something that you are supposed to do. I don't care what your color is, what your background is, who your parents are, education, maybe prison time, whatever the case may be. If you here, it's something you're supposed to do, and you special. You are. I know it's hard because you look at the situations, but you gotta get that. If you don't take anything else from here, take that away. But God is not wasteful. He's not wasteful. If he didn't want you here, trust me, you wouldn't be here. So for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So every thought that God thinks towards you and I is a good thought. God thinks no evil thoughts towards anybody. Now, he doesn't agree with everything that people are doing, but he loves you. And I'm going to tie what I'm about to say into this right here. So you can ask the question, so if God is the God of the future and he has all these, good thoughts towards me and all these big plans for me, then why would he let this happen to me? Or why would he, let that happen? Or why didn't he do something? And I'm going to say this: God is not the only one in the picture. God is not the only one in the picture, and God is not a magic genie. And what I've learned is God does not let anything happen. People do. And I'm going to speak for myself. It's a lot of things I could have avoided if I would have known better. And I thought I did know better. I was in church every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night service since I was like 3. Now, I told you I come from a heavy church background, but I still did not know. I still didn't understand his character, and there were still things I did not know. So God does not let anything happen. Over in Matthew 16:19, he says, and whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. It says, I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. So another translation says, I will allow what you will allow. And that's been a hard pill for me to swallow, because what it is it shifts the accountability back on me or you or whoever. And a lot of times it's not, the fault of the person. If you don't know, you don't know. I just didn't know. And I wasn't taught that. And God is past. He's not a magic genie. We're not down here like puppets, which I've come to realize. It's not that God put mankind here and he left us here helpless. And, whatever happens, it's up to God. And, that's up to him. And if it happens, it was God's will. But if it doesn't happen, then it's not God's will. And that's incorrect. Genesis 1:26, he's passed all the dominion and authority over to mankind. I'm going to make man in my image, and make him after my likeness, and I'm going to give him dominion. So even in Proverbs, it says the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth has he given to the children of men. So things have taken place because of ignorance. That's just what it is. And God has a system, and I'm learning more and more about that system. But he will not back out of that system. He will not. And unfortunately, the system that he's created, he's bound by it, which means he's not going to back away from it. He's not going to back off it. But that system, unfortunately, has not been taught. So people have went through things, and they're going through things that they're not supposed to be going through, that God didn't intend for them to go through. And, God can use bad. All things work together for good. So what's happened is God has had to take bad situations and, turn them around for good. But I want to get this out, that nothing bad comes from God. God thinks no bad thoughts towards you and I. None. None. God is a God of love, but God does have a system. And I'm going to be talking about that system in the next couple of videos. But understanding his character is the first step. Because if you don't understand his character, you're not going to want to spend time with him. Like, I did not want to spend time with him. I looked at him for years like he was denying me something. Like he was responsible for every bad thing that has happened in my life is because, you know, God decided not to show up for me. You know, the reason why I got rejected, the reason why, you know, my father left, all this stuff is because, you know, God let it happen. And that is completely not true. Like this idea that he's denied me something, and that's not true. And what I want people to take away from this video is you gotta understand that you and God are on the same side. You gotta understand that. Because until you understand that, nothing else will flow. Nothing else will happen. Because you'll start to, you know, I don't care about that, bro. I don't want to hear that, bro. And that's exactly how I was. And nobody had answers for me. So the next couple of videos, I'm really going to be getting into, you know, piggybacking off what I'm talking about right now. Because God does have a system. And I'm going to talk more and more about that system. Because I've been learning some stuff in here that shocks me more and more every time I get in this book. I've never in my life spent time in the Bible as much as I'm spending time right now. Never in my life. And for the first time, I'm actually understanding what I'm reading. You know, growing up, they should be like, yo, Eli, Lil E, make sure you read your Bible. Make sure you say your prayers. But I was doing it because I was seeing, you know, the men in the church do it and other people, but I didn't understand a word I was reading. I just thought, you know, it's just, you know, osmosis. Like, at least I'm doing it. But reading it is one thing, but understanding it is another. So, like I said, I hope somebody got something out of that. And like I said, if you don't take nothing away from what I said, understand that you and God are on the same side. You and God are on the same side. He got a plan for you. He got a purpose for you. And I'm going to be explaining more and more, you know, in the next coming videos. So just stick with me. But yeah, I'm hoping this helps somebody because it's something that has changed the way I've thought. And it's you know, the way that I see God now is different than the way I saw him before. And like I said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be on the lookout because I'm going to try to get this next video out by next week at the earliest. Asking him what it is that he wants me to change up or whatever. So, yeah, y'all stay tuned. God bless. Until next time.